welcome back to another episode of Surviving Ginger's podcast, where we talk about parenting, daily life, marriage, how shitty Caitlin feels being pregnant.
Woohoo.
How you feeling right now?
Well, Bob, I am I'll be 20 weeks on Monday, which is halfway. We got the 19-week anatomy scan done. And like that that one sucks so bad because you have to be there an hour. Because our babies never cooperate. I've always had to go back for a second go around with the anatomy scan. Zoe had her hands up near her face, so they couldn't make sure that she had a nose, I guess. Everett, I can't remember what he did. I think he had a hand up towards his face too, but like they didn't get some, like his spine pictures or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, you had to go back 3 times for him, didn't you?
So with Everett, when we found out we were pregnant, we went in for the dating, but they said it was too early because they had my due date wrong. But anyway, and then I had to go in. So I had to go in again for the dating 2 weeks later. And then I had to go in for a second detailed because they couldn't get something. Then I had to go in for a growth scan at later in the pregnancy because they measured him 2 weeks early. But the argument was when they felt I conceived, there was no dance with no pants.
Yeah.
So I was like, you have my due date wrong. And they're like, no, it's incredibly accurate. And then Everett came on time, according to what the GP and I had talked about. So yeah, I had 3 extra scans with him.
Yeah.
Which is so much fun. Reagan had her own set of issues because they thought they thought that I was at risk for her to have Down syndrome. So then I went to a different ultrasound place. But then they couldn't get all of her detailed. Remember, they couldn't get her gender. So we had to delay the gender reveal. Yeah, all the kids are just crap. Like...
Inside and out.
Right? And like, that's like... They give us a little show at their personalities, like right off the bat. Like Zoe loved spaghetti when I was pregnant with her. Like, remember, I could have eaten spaghetti every day of my life.
Now you hate it.
That shit was bomb. Now I can't even stand the smell of beef. And like the funny part is that that's her favorite meal.
Yeah, she loves spaghetti.
She loves
She had
it.
spaghetti tonight. Crushed it.
And everything else, she made me throw up.
Yep.
Spaghetti was the only thing she never made me throw up.
Was it fajita with her? That was just like
immediately
eject.
I'd have like a bite of fajita and I'd have to throw it up.
Yeah.
But then we kept eating it. Like, it was so stupid. She was the worst for throw up though.
Yeah.
Everett only made me throw up a handful of times, and it was mostly because I kept getting kidney stones, and it was the pain from kidney stones.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, like, this one I can brush my teeth and not want to. I do not like the taste of the toothpaste. And like, I know your mom mentioned that I don't know if it was with you or your sister, where she had to brush her teeth with baking soda. That sounds disgusting.
Yeah,
that sounds even worse.
I think it was Eva.
That sounds even... See, girls.
That's brutal. Yeah, girls. Yeah,
girls make you have morning sickness. That's the old wives' tale.
Is it?
But Everett, I still felt shit with Everett. I just didn't throw up as often. So this one I have... It's not morning sickness. It's all day blah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll feel good or better. I shouldn't say good. And like, since I had strep in March, I have a cough. And then stuffy nose. So that attributes to the cough.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will activate my gag reflex. It's wicked. But like, I don't feel as bad with this one as I did with Reagan.
Okay.
And Zoe was the absolute peak of shittiness. But we did find out the gender.
We did. Yep.
We haven't discussed how we are going to share it with our social media family and friends.
We were going to do it on the podcast, but now we're kind of...
We might hold off.
We don't know. We don't know what we're going to do
It
yet.
won't be this episode unless I fuck up and say it by accident.
Yeah.
But we told the kids. If you have any guesses, let us know. I've gone through all the old wives' tales today, which were super interesting based on what we know.
Yeah.
Because I have terrible headaches, which are an indicator that you're having a boy. My hair has like never been this lush, and people comment on it all the time. That's a boy. But I had really great hair with Zoe.
That's true. Yeah.
People commented on my hair with Zoe. But like, she made me break out on my chest like I was a bloody teenage boy. But like, nobody else has
Your
done
back
that to me.
too, if I remember.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
So terrible, hey? Nobody else has done that to me. Thank be to Jesus. What was another one? Salty snacks. I enjoy eating savory food more than I enjoy eating sweet food. That's a sign of a boy.
Yeah.
Morning sickness was the girl, like I said. But I felt I had morning sickness with Everett too. The heart rate is above 140. But Zoe's heart rate was under 140. So they all thought, remember? They were like, all the people, we weren't finding out the gender until we gave birth. And all the sonogram ladies and the doctors were like, oh, it's a boy heart rate.
Yeah.
And like, because I have 2 nephews, we thought for sure we were going to have boys. And like, I'm the token girl in like 40 years.
Yeah.
So Zoe was a surprise. Then we thought we were going to have a girl with Everett because I think his heart rate was above 140.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like, I don't know, old wives' tales. If they're ever right for you, let me know. But they've never given me any clear indicator on, and like breakouts. But like, that's a hormone thing.
Yeah, I think it could happen with anything.
Right? Like, I mean, I don't have the clearest skin anyway. Like, I have pretty combination skin. But I know with Everett, though, I felt amazeballs.
Yeah.
Aside from feeling sick.
Yeah.
Like, Zoe would make me walk laps. She would take me out into the yard, and I would walk around the playhouses in like a figure 8.
Oh, really?
For like an hour a day.
Yeah.
It was my prison time. It was my prison yard time. So yeah, it's definitely still just a wild card. Obviously, we know.
Yeah.
But I have a little fun teasing people.
That's true. Well, I mean,
Zoe's got a big effing mouth, though. She told all her friends at school. So then they're going to go tell their parents. So like I can't hold it. I can't have any secrets.
It's true.
And then yeah. She thinks we have a name picked out. I mean, I like the name.
Yeah, I do too.
And then she's like, "Can we tell people the name?" And like we let the name slip in front of my parents when we told them the gender. And like I could hear the disdain coming from my left, and I was like, "No, we're not going to tell anybody."
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
gonna keep it a secret. But and like people are only just noticing at the like school pickup. Like another mom just like was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my God, congratulations." She's like, "I hate to ask, like it's so rude." And I was like, "Well, it's not beer."
Yeah.
Because I'm
It could
clearly
be.
clearly showing now.
Yeah.
And I'm finally feeling kicks because I have an anterior placenta, which means it's in the front.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, baby was just a pain in the ass. Like moved the whole time, wouldn't let her get a picture of the feet. So like the sonographer was like, "Oh, they must have ticklish feet," and I was like, "Sure, whatever."
Sure.
Because then it got tucked right up into like that's the picture we have is like I'm the placenta.
Oh,
And
right
it
there.
was here,
Eh?
and she was like, "Wow, it's right up there," and I was like, "Yeah."
Awesome.
We might have to get you to come back. I was like, "Fuck."
Oh man.
And like you have to pee so bad because you have to pee an hour and a half prior and then chug water an hour prior. And then you're just busting a nut. Like it's 2023. When we went to the midwife, I had an empty bladder. They had just gotten an ultrasound machine. And she found the baby right away.
Yeah.
Without a full bladder. And I was 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Get your life together.
Yeah. Right.
Like, why do you enjoy torturing people? I bet it's a fucking myth.
Yeah. Probably.
I bet it's a fucking myth.
Let's make them drink a bunch of water.
Yeah. When I had my 1 centimeter kidney stone, they wanted me to chug water before. And I was like, that's not happening because I was super nauseated, right? And they didn't need it.
Yeah.
I had no water.
Yeah.
I had no water. I had no food.
Weird.
I was
Wonder why they
bone
want that
dry.
then.
Well, the bladder pushes the uterus up, I guess, so that it's not as hard to find.
Oh. Oh, so it's easy for them.
I guess.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but I'm sore AF from that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like with Reagan where I had the nuchal done. I did not get the nuchal done this time, which is where they screen for the word I'm looking for. The chromosome defects and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Genetic stuff. And I didn't get the blood test done this time because it caused a lot of anxiety with Reagan. So I made the conscious decision to avoid that this time.
Yeah. It was unneeded. That was where they said you had a 1 in
4 chance.
that she has Down syndrome because they couldn't see the nose.
Not 1 in 4. That doesn't.
No, it was like 1 in 54 or something like that.
Stupid.
1 in
it was
54.
It was like 2%. I had a 2% chance of her having Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Because something showed up in my blood. I was 34, and time out.
Yeah. To get another kid.
Yeah, the second time. Yeah. Anyway, I advocated to not do that this time, and I'm contemplating not doing the gestational diabetes test because that shit is absolutely appalling and disgusting, and I don't think I can do it a 4th time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not. I don't like regular Orange Crush. Why would I drink why would I chug flat Orange Crush?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no thank you. Hashtag no thanks.
Right.
I haven't discussed it with Kimberly though, but based on all that, I advocate very strongly for midwifery.
Yeah.
Over OB. There's nothing wrong with obstetric gynecology doctors. Like, I never had a really terrible experience with any of my other two. It was just, I didn't know which doctor I was going to get when I went into the clinic. Because you didn't know who was on call. Like, because my mom would say, like, oh, you need to request a certain doctor on a certain day. And I was like, but I won't be able to guarantee that I'll have them. I won't be able to guarantee that I have them day of delivery. And it was Zoe, our first baby. I didn't want to fuss over it too much. Had a completely different doctor for Everett. Nothing terrible. Nothing negative has put me off OB or regular doctors, other than the fact that you can't guarantee who you're going to get. At least in Alberta or Calgary. I don't know about Edmonton or anywhere else. But, yeah, I strongly advocate for my midwife. Get your own.
Yeah, right.
She was one of the reasons that we contemplated having a fourth. Because I was sad that we didn't have her for my other two.
She made it so much easier. Like,
yeah,
you basically labored at home until it was like ready to go,
chill.
time, and then we just went to the hospital. Like, you didn't have to deal with all that crap at the hospital, like walking around or not being ready.
Yeah.
Like, it was so much easier.
Yeah, it was nice to have somebody come and check you at home.
Yeah.
And, like, I know that I'll have her as long as I don't deliver in August because she's away.
Yep.
But, like, my feet are swelling. That's new. That's a new development. Great. And I'm dizzy this time. Like, I was so dizzy today.
Yeah.
I don't remember that being a symptom I've ever had before. I know it is a symptom, but, like, hot darn.
Yeah.
I, like, had to sit in the chair today and just, like, and then Zoe got hurt and I had to get up, but
Yeah.
I had to.
That was fun.
But, like, okay, so fourth baby. Do people at work know that you're having a fourth one? You haven't even told the guy that you're working
anything.
with.
No.
Wow.
I don't know.
Obviously,
It doesn't really come up. Like,
right.
hey, we're having a fourth baby.
Well, it's just you didn't come to the ultrasound on Thursday
Yeah.
because of work. He probably would have let you come.
Yeah, the way...
If you had warned him and said, like, hey, I have an appointment on Thursday.
Yeah,
But,
the way
like,
he is, he would, for sure. Yeah.
But I know somebody you work with probably knows because his wife
Yes.
follows us on Instagram.
Yep.
So nobody would say anything stupid to you as of yet.
No.
Oh, well, that must be nice.
What do you mean stupid?
Well, just like being pregnant with your fourth kid. Being pregnant in general.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
a few weeks ago, somebody said to me, how far along are you? And I told them, and they were like, is that all? And I was like, oh, okay. We chose violence today. And, like, I just laughed it off because I was like, how fucking dare you even insinuate that 18 weeks is not a long time? In the grand scheme of things, no, it's not a long time because you're still over halfway. But
That's true, yeah.
18 weeks in my pregnancy is like in a bloody eternity.
Yeah.
And then having the fourth kid in general. Oh, you got your hands full. You're busy. I'm busy anyway. Like, now it's just fourfold. The 22-month gap between Reagan and this one
Yeah.
might throw me for a loop because I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's true.
I so badly wanted to be that mom that had the not like not the clean house. Like obviously I want it to be lived in, but like the crumbs on the floor, the laundry's never done, like the bathroom's a pigsty. I just
Like when? When do you have time for that? Like how do people do, like they must hire maids? Like there's no way.
no, I'm sure they just prioritize it, and I don't do that. I don't prioritize things like that.
It's different because of what we do though, right? Is that like other moms, or is this stuff you see on Instagram? Is this other moms on Instagram that have clean?
Yeah, there's some like, I mean, Instagram's kind of a poor place to get your
It's true. They get
comparisons
all
from because,
pushed up into a corner somewhere.
I've done that. We're doing that right now. This is not.
It's true. I cleaned
Yeah,
behind
it's
me a little bit before.
There,
I just
and
pushed
it's
stuff
shitty
over.
there.
Yeah. There's some crumbs on the floor. I didn't sweep too much, but I just pushed the pile of toys this way, out of frame.
That's the real. Like we always said, we'd be really real, but then, like, I've seen you post some things when like the house is in its like full list of crap, and I'm like, why did you post that? And you're like, I don't know.
I know we used to do stuff because I remember Zoe used to watch this one family, and there's like different things of what I've heard and read. Like it's a bigger family. Like they have a lot of subscribers on YouTube, and they have this one house, and it almost has nothing in it. Like there's almost like no furniture, and people, things I've read is that it's a film house. But it's a really nice house. And I was like, oh, really? They don't live in that house? Like, it looks like they like, because then there's been like some parts of it where like they're doing an advertisement and they're like sleeping on a bed and like it looks lived in, but then the rest of the house is like immaculate. So I don't know if like
Some people live like that though. Like, I know somebody's wife makes like, if the kids play with something, it has to go away when it's done.
Really?
Yeah. Which is like not a terrible thing. Like good
No,
for her.
no.
Bless her heart. I wish.
Yeah, right?
Show me your ways. Remember we were at Walmart today and there was a little girl walking next to her cart, not doing nothing. And I was like, teach me how you got that. Teach me how you got your kid to just walk nicely in the parking lot next to the cart without having to rein them in. Like, I mean, our kids are not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Like, there's a lot more rambunctious children out there. And,
Well,
like, you want them to have their fun. But dang, sometimes your legs just grab onto the cart. And if you let go of the cart, you die.
Yeah. You have to pat yourself on the back, though, because when Zoe and Everett were looking at those Mario stuffed animals and the one fell off and Everett bent over, picked it up and put it back on the shelf. And the guy that worked at Walmart was like, wow, he's like, most kids would have just left that. And
what did you say to him though?
Well, I said, oh, I would have made him put it back, and he was like, no, like he didn't, but you didn't have to tell him to put it back. He just did it. And I was like, true.
Now, if it was Zoe,
oh yeah, she would have left it. Oh, I know. But Everett's really good with that. And I was like, I know, he's super polite.
Yeah,
super polite, and it's a little bit of his downfall. And I feel bad sometimes for him because it's like nice guys always finish last, right? Like that's what it always feels like with him, because like he's the nicest person. Like he'll go out of your way to give you his shirt off his back, and like he just gets walked over by everybody, and I'm always like, man.
But he's getting some backbone now. He's
starting to fight
he's
back.
not playing with people he doesn't find nice, and I'm good. Yeah, do that.
And he's so honest too. Like there's
a detriment to himself.
Yeah. We recently met the neighbor. There's a bunch of neighborhood kids that live around here. So like we've lived here for like 7-8 years, and like we've never really met neighbors until like, you know, last year. That's when like a bunch of kids came out, and everyone's all grown up. Like they're all around the same age. So there's babies up until, you know, toddlers. Now they're out there playing. So there's all these friends to play with, and a family moved across the street, and their son, he's 4 years older than Everett, and he ran over accidentally one of Everett's Mario Kart toys, and just like basically it went flying right. And I saw this. I went and picked up the Mario Karts, and we noticed it was like kind of broken a little bit. And the next day, Everett goes to see him, and he's like, the kid asks, "Hey, can you bring out the Mario Karts?" And everyone's like, "No." He's like, "You ran over and broke one of my Mario Karts." I'm sitting there like, "Oh, buddy." And the kid felt bad. He didn't know. Like he's
Yeah, and it was
right.
an
You're
accident.
riding a bike over like something that's like a couple inches. Like you don't know. You hit that.
Yeah.
But
Because Zoe reamed into one of her little friends for making her one toy dirty today. And I was like, that was yesterday.
yeah,
And like, guarantee she probably didn't feel good after that. The other one.
yeah.
Not Zoe.
Yeah.
Zoe. Now, to be fair, I appreciate that Zoe and Everett will stand up for
Yeah,
themselves.
I appreciate that too. Yeah.
And I hope he continues.
Yeah.
Him in particular. I don't really worry too much about her socially. She's...
Yeah.
The older she gets, though, like, you know how you put your own insecurities onto your kids? Like, I hated being a kid.
Yeah.
And, like, so I kind of worried about her having the same insecurities. And then, meanwhile, she's want to be my friend, and the kid will run away, and she'll be like, okay. It won't faze her one little bit.
Yeah.
She is getting a little bit more sensitive, like where if her friends do something, she kind of goes like, well, that made me feel bad.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a learned thing to be a little bit more reserved.
It's true. Yeah.
But yeah, Everett is honest to a detriment, because if he asks you for something and you say yes, he'll run to me and confirm that it is indeed yes. And I'm like, but I don't care.
Yeah. I know.
What did Dad say? Then yeah, fine. And what is your response when he says that?
Yeah.
What is your response?
Oh, I always say, when he does it to, like, if he asks you or whatever, then he comes and asks me. I always said, like, mommy's the boss, man. What did mommy say? Like, if you already asked one parent and they said yes, like, chances are the other parent's going to say yes too, because
Yeah.
unless you go and ask a parent, like, hey, can I juggle knives in the kitchen? And the one parent goes like, yeah, sure, buddy. And then he comes and asks the other parent. Of course, they're going to say no.
Yeah, right.
I think Zoe did that to me today. I don't remember what it was about, though. I just remember this is when we were racing. We were kind of like out way down the road, and he was like, or she was like, she said we couldn't go further than this line. And she's like, because mommy said so. And I looked at her and I was like, well, mommy's not here. I was like, you're in the Wild West. You have daddy's rules. And she's like, but mommy said so. And I'm like,
it makes me sound like such a dictator, though.
It's all those times that I've said, like, mommy's the boss. And now it
Yeah.
finally caught up to me because she's like, no, the dictator said so.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But like, see, but you were with her, so I didn't catch her on it.
well, exactly.
Yeah, because
I could have said that, but I made a joke. And
I think then I heard her say, "Oh, when we have a parent, it's okay," or something like that.
Yeah.
When we have a parent with us.
yeah.
I think I heard her say that, and I was like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Yeah, man.
It'll be interesting when the fourth one shows up, how life will be.
It's gonna be insane. It's funny because we used to watch those like shows like what was that? It was like Outdaughtered. Is that show even still on? Remember that? How crazy that was. You know,
I don't know, because we have.
you had like 6 daughters, like 6 like sextuplets.
So they had a singleton, and then they had quints.
Yeah. Oh.
I think that's how it went.
Remember how insane that was?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like that's I
mean,
couldn't.
obviously,
imagine
we're not at that.
having
we're not at that
multiples.
stage, but
It was a fear. It was a fear that we were gonna have multiples.
I know.
Because I once upon a time heard a doctor reference a woman's reproductive system after she hits a certain age, that it's like a gumball machine. So they start spitting them out more. And like the woman who was in the video was really offended. And I was like, thank you very much for explaining it to my dumbass.
It's true.
Because that is exactly how it is.
Yeah.
And I said that to the midwife. And I was like, we're just hoping that it's not multiples. Because
Yeah.
I'm of the age that my body is just going blah, 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 with my eggs. Spitting them out. Get rid of them.
Yep. It's true. Yeah.
So we're going to get you snippied.
Make the appointment. Apparently it's free here, I heard.
That's great. Because there's no equipment going in you.
Yep.
Whereas an IUD is a piece of material that costs money to be made.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Whereas they're I don't even know how they do it. You should Google it.
I have no idea.
They cut you open, I guess.
No, I don't even.
It's introscopic, so it's all
Yeah.
done with cameras, and then I think they snip a rooney and then they singe it. I don't know actually, because it's not entirely 100% effective.
Yeah. I think they just go in now. There's like no surgery, and like you basically just like walk in and walk out. Like there's no recovery time anymore. Like
well,
it's
you have to hang out for a few days after.
Yeah.
Because like obviously your shit will hurt.
Yeah.
But like fuck you, I don't get any recovery time after I give birth. Remember after Reagan we went to Canadian Tire 3 or 4 days later and I was beat.
It's true, yeah.
We were walking back to the car and I was like, I feel like I've been hit by a bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I didn't realize how hard, like, because I don't remember feeling that way.
Because you were in labor for like 3 days, man.
That's true. That was a long weekend, man.
So that's like 24/7 working out
Yeah.
for 3 days straight. Like that's insane.
It's definitely a pitfall. And a reason why I'm terrified this time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the anterior placenta, because it was Everett and Reagan both turned. Everett came out OP facing up. Reagan was facing down properly and dilating me. But then I sat in a bed. And I wasn't actively participating in my labor. I was just in labor. Because with Zoe, it was so easy.
I know.
Oh my God. We could have a whole episode on my bloody labor stories. And we could relive it. Let's relive your version of events for labor stories. Oh, wait. You slept sometimes.
That's great.
On that shitty bed in the window.
That was freezing cold.
Both times? Well, Reagan, yeah.
No,
Reagan was in the winter. Ish.
Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe was dead of winter.
I didn't sleep for Reagan because we were here for Reagan.
Valid.
Right?
Yeah, that's
And Everett
valid.
was
So
the middle of summer.
And we were only there, we went 6:30. I delivered by 9.
Yeah.
Okay, valid. Everett, you slept after birth.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with people in the room.
It's true.
While you were
I
asleep.
avoided that. I heard people.
Lucky. I should have napped because you left for a while. And I should have napped because Everett was like just knocked out after birth. And I should have napped. But I kept trying to feed him because I was second baby. I hadn't gotten my rhythm yet. I was so worried about my milk coming in.
Yep.
And then I ended up having too much milk. But he loved it. Yeah. Remember, he was like, oh, fucking meaty. Yeah. Big jowly boy. Right. He loved the milk flow. He loved it. Reagan, not so much.
Well, that's why Reagan's a chunker, though, because that's how
she's not so bad now. She's leaned out now that I've weaned her off breastfeeding. I have done that since our last episode, because I think I was still breastfeeding in our last episode. At least once or twice.
I think so, yeah.
So I have accomplished that, and we're not doing well on the sleeping front.
Yeah.
And like another pregnancy symptom is that I sleep like trash anyway. Like the pregnancy insomnia. It's not even insomnia. It's somebody wakes me up in the night, or I wake up because I have to pee, and then I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. And then I'm awake. And then I go, what the fuck am I doing? And then I'm mad. Now, I can usually fall back asleep, unlike you. If roles were reversed, or I was like
I
you, I'd be
know.
up probably.
It's so hard to fall
Doing
back
some-
asleep for me. I hate that.
No, I love sleep. More sleep for me.
I hate it.
You give it up.
You sleep bank?
I would sleep.
You know, bank of sleep?
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Things not to say to a pregnant woman. Just you wait. As a mother to almost 4, you can't say just wait. Because every kid is different. Every pregnancy is different. I hate when people say that. When my friends were pregnant after I gave birth to Zoe, they asked me stuff, and I was like, I don't know. Because you might not have the same thing. And I was trying to be really diplomatic about the situation. They probably didn't appreciate that. Probably why we don't talk anymore. But, like, or get your sleep now. You don't, there's no bank of Z's. I don't get to go cash those in later. Go to the bank and go like, oh, I'll just take those that I didn't get.
Yeah.
And go sleep now. Or sleep when the baby sleeps. Can't do that now. Everything. Yeah. Just ignore us pregnant people. Pregnant women don't want to hear it.
I know. It's brutal.
Unless we ask.
Yeah.
But I will never ask for help. My toxic trait. I will never ask for help, and then I'll bitch that nobody helps.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah.
I actually don't do that.
Heard that.
I appreciate no helping. Please do not help.
It's true. Yeah.
I will, yeah. The only thing I will advocate for is whatever works best for you.
It's true. Everything's different. I mean, we always... Kids asleep, like, exactly as she's fussing right now on the monitor.
We might have to end this quicker then.
Yeah.
I think we're wrapping up time anyway.
Yeah. But basically, all the kids' sleeps are different, right? Like, they're never the same.
Yeah, I know. Even no matter how many kids you have, they're all different.
Yeah.
3 kids, not one of them do the same thing. Even though we've tried.
Yeah. Because they always go through like a sleep regression, and it's like we always get so frustrated halfway through the sleep regression. We don't know they're having it until about a couple days in, and we're like, oh, this is probably a sleep regression, because we'll Google it and go like, yeah, that's the time frame that they're in. And then we try and figure out ways, okay, how do we get through this? And we're always like losing our minds trying to figure out how to do it. And then eventually, by the time we are trying to figure something out, they fall back.
Well, it was Zoe. We did that a lot.
Yeah. That was our first kid. We had no freaking idea. Remember when we first found out that sleep regressions were a thing?
Yeah.
We Googled
Nobody
it.
told me.
We Googled sleep regression.
Nobody told me about sleep
Don't
regressions.
tell us to sleep while you can. Tell us about sleep regressions. People need to know about sleep regressions, because that was insane. When I found out, when I Googled that.
Leaps now. They don't call them regressions.
Oh,
I don't know
whatever.
if it's like a negative thing or whatever. But it's leaps because it's based around they've learned something.
Yeah.
So except for the 4-month one, that's them no longer being a newborn and having to learn how to sleep on their own. Not just in a coma.
Yeah.
Little baby coma. That's probably one of the worst ones, because it's you don't know how long it's gonna last, and you're so used to the newborn sleep.
It's true. Yeah.
The newborn sleep is magic. This time though, because the midwives came. So when did I have Reagan? Monday? Sunday. I had Reagan on a Sunday. The next morning, the midwives were coming. Or the next day, the midwives were coming. I had Reagan down for a nap. I think my parents had Everett. You were home for the week. You went and got Zoe from kindergarten. and I was having the best, because like that day after labor, babies will sleep hours because obviously it's really hard to like be born. And I foolishly took the call from the midwives, and they said we'll be there in like 45 minutes or something like that, and I foolishly accepted. Not this time, because aside from the time I had my surgery, that was the best sleep I had in years.
Yeah. That's true.
And I fucked it up.
Yeah.
I fucked it up. And then she never slept well again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is she worse than Zoe? I don't know. I'm hoping.
I don't remember, man. I think I want to say Zoe was worse, but Zoe was her first. So like there was no comparison because no comparison. There's no basis of comparison because we don't know. I mean, when I think about Reagan, like some things she does, like when she was screaming bloody murder that one night, and I remember that Zoe used to do that. I remember I told you, I was like, because we were new, we had no idea what was going on. We learned about sleep regressions, and we're like, that's a thing. So we're like, okay, is this a sleep regression? Like every time she couldn't sleep, we always thought, is it a sleep regression? Because we had no freaking idea. And I remember there was something we read because I think Zoe was trying to go in her own bed, like it was that convertible crib. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think you said that she didn't have a soother anymore.
So when we put her into the convertible bed, because she almost fell out of the crib, and it was as low as it could go, we took the front off of it. She still had a Sue at that time. She was about 2, I think. But she would no longer put herself to bed because she wasn't confined by her little baby prison. So we gave up naps. That could be a partial reason as to why she was overtired.
Yeah.
I probably could have done better.
Yeah.
But like for first kid, I was just going with, and I was pregnant with Everett at the time.
But it's when she was screaming bloody murder, right? And
she was going through night terrors as well.
Well, we read something saying leave them in the room and then go out of the door and close the door and let them scream it out, and she would come screaming towards the door and try and open it, and then we'd have to, when she opened the door, we'd have to tell her to go back to her room. And like in the moment you're like, yeah, that makes sense, but like thinking about it now, because when Reagan was screaming that one night, like thinking about it, going like, I wonder if that's why Zoe
is terrified
of being alone, because she won't even go upstairs like by herself, like middle of the day, like daylight everywhere.
She does a little bit now, but yeah.
But like she's like terror, she's like scared, and she doesn't like being with the lights off. She doesn't like being alone anywhere, and it's like, I wonder, did we mess her up because we gave her some sort of trauma? And I think about when Reagan was screaming that one night, I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, because I don't want to traumatize her, because that's the last thing I want. Like the cry it out method, like some people swear by it. I don't think it. I can't.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's an awful thing to do.
I tried it, like when you would go to work in the mornings, Zoe would wake up at like 5:00 wanting to wake up, and I wouldn't go get her, and I would hear her cry, and she would cry for about 10-20 minutes, and then she would go back to sleep eventually. So I kind of sleep trained her, but not really. And she's a terrible sleeper. So then with Everett, we didn't do that. But Everett is a blur. I don't know. He could be explained things too, and he would get it.
Yeah.
So we told him when he got his like big boy bed, you have to go to sleep on your own. We're right downstairs, yada, yada, yada. And he would. And then eventually he got to a point where he would kick us out.
Yep, I remember that. I'd go and say goodnight to him, and then I'd sit there for a bit. and he would look at me and go like, can you leave?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So I'd leave, and like he's our best sleeper because Zoe, like, we screwed her up because we have to be in there. Remember
We would have to be in
we had
there
to
for
lay
hours.
we had to lay in her bed
Till she fell asleep.
till she fell asleep.
And then we slowly integrated that we would leave
Yeah.
after the light went off. Like, we just had to build her confidence up to fall asleep. So, like, I know that we have to do that with Reagan.
Yeah.
But with the other two, at least we had soothers. So we would walk in, pop
Yeah.
those back in their mouth, and we would leave. Zoe was the worst. She's such a thrasher, so she would always lose hers. But Reagan never took Sue's. This one is getting a Sue in the hospital. I'm taking it. When it's not on the boob, it's getting a Sue.
Yeah, right.
And it'll, because Everett, remember when we first brought Everett home, he had a Sue, and I would put him down and he would just be conked out. Because I made a specific mission to, if the baby didn't need me at the particular time, I would make Zoe priority so that Zoe wouldn't get really fussy. Reagan never let me do that.
Yeah.
So now we have to like rewind with Everett and make him feel important again.
It's true, yeah.
And now another one's coming. Oh my god. But it's the third trimester is where shit will get really interesting.
It's true, yeah.
I don't remember when the third 28 weeks, I think, is when the third trimester hits. So I got a few weeks to go. But
Fun.
and then it's like a slippery slope. Like the summer will fly by.
It's, yeah, it flies by anyway. The
I know.
summer is always so quick.
I know.
It's always around this time period where I'm like April, like halfway through April, and I like think like, oh, May's next. Like May is when like kind of like summer starts a bit because like it gets like really warm.
Yeah.
And then from like May and then June and then July, and it just flies by.
Well, and I
every single
really don't
time.
want to be pregnant in the summer again. But
Oh, I know.
here we are.
It's only getting warmer.
I know.
Remember last year at the lake? That was insane. Like,
I know. I probably won't come out from the basement.
it was like
but
what was that? The warmest day was like 38 degrees or something like that, wasn't it? It was like 38 or 40. It was insane for like
I don't remember.
British Columbia. Like, that's a crazy temperature.
Yeah, I don't. But I would like to normalize that not everybody enjoys pregnancy.
Yeah.
I know, because like I've heard, oh, I enjoyed I enjoyed being pregnant. I loved being pregnant. Pregnant was so much fun. What was the other person said? I just did what I want when I was pregnant. I didn't worry about anything. Like, you don't help. That doesn't help me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go like, oh, let me fix everything. Obviously, very grateful that we got lucky. Especially because we tried hard for Everett and Reagan.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're supposed to have this one and we're internally grateful, but I fucking hate it.
Yeah. I know.
The
Yeah.
one thing I do enjoy, the one benefit to being pregnant, two benefits. I don't have my period because that was a huge thing. Because like the whole year postpartum, I was just dreading that time. I was like, fuck, I'm going to have my period again. I hate my period. Because like ever since having babies, my period is just trash. And it lasts forever. And I was really dreading it. And then I had like this little piddly ass, like regular teenage Caitlin period. And I was like, oh, that was lovely. And then I got pregnant. And I was like, well, at least I don't have my period.
Yeah.
And then I get a free pass to be fat.
True. Yep.
Granted, because I don't eat, the baby hates all the food I eat.
Mm-hmm.
aside from a very few select things, but I can only have a handful of them, or very might. Because even Zoe was like, "You don't eat enough because have a baby in your belly," and I was like, "I don't eat enough because baby doesn't want it."
Yeah.
I lose weight when I'm pregnant, and then I'll breastfeed, and then my appetite will be fucking insatiable. Because I was telling my mom about it. I was like, she's like, aren't you supposed to burn calories? Isn't it supposed to burn calories? Because she didn't breastfeed, right? And I was like, but the amount of calories I have to take in to make the food does not equate to the calories it burns. But I can't work out.
Yep.
Can't work out, don't want to work out. Tomatoes.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, would I like to walk more? Yeah, sure. And I hope to walk. Like, I would like to walk the kids to school or from school, but like the one time I did that, Zoe was an absolute mess.
Yeah.
From it. But I had a stroller. She sat the whole time. But so we'll see. I probably won't be able to do it this time because I'll be too pregnant, but yeah. But if you hate your pregnancy, you are not alone. There are others out there. I have video proof because it's on Instagram and TikTok that other people also hate pregnancy.
Yeah, it's true.
I know there's this one couple I see, and she talks about like what she eats in a day being pregnant. And she, like, good for her. I'm lucky. She eats like 3 or 4 more times than I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she like eats well. And meanwhile, I like have a bag of Cheetos sitting next to me on the couch. Jalapeno Cheetos, no less.
That's dinner.
Yeah. And but my portions will be really small because I can't eat a lot.
Yeah.
But I eat maybe 4 or 5 times a day. I have a breakfast, I have a lunch, I have a dinner, and I have a snack. Yep. And that is it.
Yep.
And it's all way less portion sized. And then when I'm breastfeeding, I'll be like shoveling it in like a pelican. And then we have to figure out a name.
Yep. Yeah, we do.
I have to confirm a name.
Confirm.
We have a name. We'll see if it sticks, though, for the next 5 months.
Yep. Unless something better comes around.
I don't know, because I used my 2.
Yeah.
Reagan was a wild card. I let you have that one. But Everett and Zoe were my 2 have-tos.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll have to go through. We'll do a baby names episode.
Sure.
Let's do that. We'll go through a list of baby names. We'll confirm the gender on social media this week. Maybe. I don't know. Because we haven't figured out, like, what's a good idea for a gender reveal. That's the problem. Is that, like, we had that big one for Reagan, and now I'm like, blah. Most of the people know. Like, your mom knows. My parents know.
Well, that's why we did
Megan.
a little private sneak peek one on TikTok, because we were trying to figure out how to do a gender reveal, because we were like, okay, should we do something crazy? Like, we were looking at smoke bombs or exploding golf balls and baseballs and stuff like that. We were looking at all that stuff, and then I started searching on TikTok like gender reveal ideas, and a bunch of them were like just these crazy, like, people have these huge displays and like fireworks and stuff, and the sound that we used was exactly the sound that all these people are using it for, and they're like these big spectacular things, and I was like, it didn't hit me. Like, I didn't go like, oh, cool. And then I saw like a couple ones that were like private. Like, there was one where there was a guy, like, they were a younger couple, it must have been their first kid, and they were in a bathroom and the phone was on the counter, and
they must have gotten the like sneak peek one where you could like figure out the gender at like 6 weeks or something like that.
Maybe. And it was on the...
I just didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I know. It was on the counter, and they were both like so excited. Like they were like, the guy was like shaking. He was so excited, and they kept like hugging each other. And then they finally like looked at it, but it was kind of like the same thing like what our video was.
A teaser.
It was a teaser, and it was like, but it was like for part two. And I was like, we're not like for part two, but just like we made it a little bit of a teaser, right? But it's when I saw that, and I saw another private video. There's one like
we did that because we like to tell family first.
Yeah.
So somebody did comment on it going like private ? And as private is meaning we didn't have a party, family and friends.
Oh, someone did say private?
Yeah, where we all found out together.
Yeah.
Private as in the 5 of us found out.
Yeah. And that's what...
separately, and we kind of held on to it for a hot minute.
Exactly. So that was the first one, was it said private in it, and then the second one was like this couple, they must live somewhere nearby a beach, and they went to a hotel. They had this like romantic getaway together.
We missed out on our first baby.
I know.
Man.
And they did it. It was all private, right? Like they had like a cake that had, I think it was like blue on the inside. They both took champagne glasses at the same time. They looked at each other, they were talking to each other about it, and it was like, it was cool. And I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. It's so cute that's private. I was like, I don't want like something spectacular. Like I just want something.
Yeah, we'll probably share it. We'll share it in a cute way. Like I have an idea, but it takes time and effort.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have the energy for it. In reality,
it's not that we're not excited about it. It's that some things just need to be simple. Everything doesn't need to be this huge spectacle. Like
it's nothing to do with the baby.
Yeah.
I have a stitch now. There's nothing. It's nothing to do with like not being excited for the baby. It's that like this one is for sure our last one. Like we kind of hummed and hawed when we were pregnant with Reagan, right? Like this one, I'm done. So we're kind of taking a different, calmer road. Like it was the same. We didn't have like a big announcement. Mm-hmm. That's for another episode though. We didn't do a big announcement that we were pregnant. And it's not because we were not excited. It was just everything's a little bit more low key now.
The funny difference though too is that whenever you're pregnant, you usually shut down, right? Like you're like social media just kind of goes to the back. Like you don't even want to touch social media. Like social media, it just goes to the back burner. And it's true, because if you have been following us for years, like you can see the difference in like.
I think I was off social media when I was pregnant with Reagan for like 3 months.
It's always been
trimester.
Like that. Yeah.
I didn't post anything.
I can't remember. I think it was
because I didn't find out until I was 11 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
And then I brought you on, so then you post stuff now, so you'll see stuff. Yeah. But there was a huge gap. I lost like a boatload of followers in that 3 months.
Everett, I think, was like 6 months. Like it was like it's always a big fraction of.
I didn't start social
pieces that were missing, which is. It is what it is, right? It's if you don't.
That first trimester is a bitch. Like I hate pregnancy now, but I hated pregnancy a couple of weeks ago even more.
Yeah, exactly. If you
I don't have the second trimester. Fool.
Yeah.
I am very well aware that I feel like trash.
Yeah.
I just feel less trashy.
Yeah.
Than I did in the first trimester. And then the ball will roll and I will get taken down that fucking third trimester hill until I give birth.
But it's what you said, right? Is that like because we've collectively teamed together on the Instagram account and TikTok and everything like that, you can tell, like if people have been following us for a while, you can always tell, because then it's like me, my dumb face for like fucking every video for like months and months and months, and then now, because it's the same thing which is happening right now, is that now you're posting a lot of pregnancy stuff, so now like it's flipped. It was like me for a while, now it's like you're doing it, and that's every single pregnancy is always like that, is like you don't feel comfortable.
It's comfort I don't know the word. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's
It's true.
and like I don't do the UGC much anymore. Like I have offers come in,
Oh, do you?
but I haven't looked at them.
Yeah.
There is one I wanted to look at, but I haven't yet. Because there's other things that I have to deal with right now.
Yep.
So, and like I'm half falling asleep. Like I probably look like I'm gonna doze into the microphone.
We should shut her down then, eh?
Yeah.
Get you some bed.
It's bedtime.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. We keep saying that we need to figure out what we're gonna say at the end, and then we never do.
Okay, here it goes. Yeah, I don't know how to organically end it. Bye. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Yeah.
Go head over to Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and search Surviving Gingers. You'll see our dumb ugly mugs.
All the links, if you're watching on YouTube, all the links are, I think they're in the bio, because like for some reason I can't link, like it won't verify me for some reason on Google, even though like I've had to submit.
Is
I've
it
never
my
had to I
account?
never had to do this with any YouTube channel before, where
Oh no, you made it.
where you
Yeah,
have
that's
to
weird.
submit a photo
It's a
ID,
scam.
like your face and a photo ID, and I did that, and they're like, you know, you're not verified. I'm like, okay, I guess that's not me. So I don't know, like I can't put links in the
Existential crisis.
I can't put links in the bio of like the videos.
That's
so
weird.
we never had to do that before. Like
Hmm.
it must be a new thing. I don't know, maybe people are scamming too much these days.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway. So if you want to follow us on the other social medias, there's a link in like the channel description. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching
And listening.
and listening. Yeah.
And we hope you enjoy our take on life and all that fun stuff. And if you want to reach out to us, do that. And if you have any questions or guesses on the gender, we would love to talk about that.
Yeah.
Have some topics.
For sure.
Get
Yeah.
you guys involved in the conversations. I like Am I the Asshole? Yes. Have you ever seen those? You've seen those. Well, whatever. Okay, we'll figure that out. It's on like every podcast. It's Am I an Asshole? And it's like I blah blah blah. It's like an excerpt, a story.
Oh.
And they like talk about it on whether or not the poster is actually an asshole or not.
We should do that. We definitely should do that.
Am I a bad parent because we let our kid cry it out? No. Because some people it works.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
We'll see you. Blah.
Catch you on the flip side.
Yeah. New episodes every weekend.
We haven't really hammered down a date on them yet because we've had some issues with video editing that we've finally figured out, because between laptop and programs and software. So as of right now, every Sunday the audio is up on Spotify and Apple and Google, all that stuff that we're approved for now. Videos eventually will be every Sunday, but yeah.
So make sure you. What do you do on podcasts? Review? Is that what they say?
I don't know. I've heard people like review Apple, like you review or something on Apple and it
Just
ranks
tell people you
higher.
like us. Tell your friends. Tell your couple friends.
Yep.
Come hang out with us every weekend.
Yep.
And we will hang out next weekend. Have a good one.
See ya.